local source for live meetings. The Government Channel presents
This is Spotlight, 1997.
Welcome to Spotlight. In the next 30 minutes, we'll learn more about the men and women who help protect our city, the Athens Fire Department. Also on today's show, Elisa Rich tells us about when telephones came to town, and Officer Rick Crossan has another lesson on how to keep kids off drugs. All that and more on today's Spotlight. I'm Shireen Jones. Thanks for joining us.
Picasso painted the old guitarist during a period of depression that lasted 4 years, his blue period. Today, with new discoveries, 80% of depressive disorders are being successfully treated, giving hope to millions that maybe now, nobody has to have a blue period.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Shireen Jones. Today's Spotlight is focusing on the Athens Fire Department. I want to thank firefighter Chad Ladder for giving us a demonstration of the ladder truck. Recently, the City of Athens purchased the National Guard Armory. Carla Molinex has the details.
Hi, I'm Carla Molinex for Spotlight. I'm here at the Athens Armory, located at the end of Court Street. The City of Athens recently bought the armory for $255,000 from the Ohio National Guard. Let's take a look inside. The armory was built in 1915. It was used as a training center for the Ohio National Guard and the Ohio University ROTC. It was abandoned 2.5 years ago when the Ohio National Guard went through a period of consolidation, closing nearly 20 armories in the state of Ohio. As you can see, the armory is in a state of deterioration. Mayor Rick Abel says at this point, the main priority is to stabilize the building. The city may utilize rooms such as this to house the overflow of administrative offices from the city building. Chuck Miller from the Athens City Code Enforcement Office is here at the armory with us today, and he's going to give us a tour. Thanks for joining us, Chuck.
Thank you, and I'll be glad to. Colonel Matthews, who was a local resident here in Athens, this was his office up here. The basketball court, that was where the platoons had their formations and officers' call, and all the men were told what was the plans. The basement of the armory here was used for storage of weapons and field equipment, field kitchen equipment, anything that would be used when we're out on maneuvers. And there were several of the sergeants had offices in the basement.
As the city begins to renovate the armory, Spotlight will keep you informed of its progress. Now, training is a big part of every firefighter's life. Recently, the Athens Fire Department held a special training session. Steve Lewis was there and has the details.
On the evening of May 11th, Athens area firefighters gathered at the Athens County Fairgrounds to participate in flammable liquid training. The training program was brought to the Athens area through a joint effort between the local Emergency Planning Commission and the Athens County Fire Association. Training of this type has not been conducted in the Athens area since the 1980s. Since then, many veteran firefighters have retired, leaving the younger ones with the responsibility of protecting the citizens. Chief Troxel explains how the training is conducted.
Years ago, we used to be able to use diesel fuel and kerosene and things like that to actually do a flammable liquids fire, but with the more stringent EPA guidelines, that pretty well eliminates any type of fire training like that. So what they're doing now is basically bubbling liquid propane through the water, which simulates a flammable liquids fire. You get a very similar type of situation. We can use Class B foams to extinguish your fire. We can use some fog, water fog, to extinguish the fire. So it gives us a very real situation without having the environmental impact.
over because the longer he goes.
In 1996, the Athens Fire Department spent over 6,000 hours in training. When we return on Spotlight, when telephones came to Athens, and my one-on-one interview with the fire chief.
In America, you are not required to offer food to the hungry or shelter to the homeless. There is no ordinance forcing you to visit the lonely. In fact, nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have to provide anything for anybody. Thank you for all you've given. Imagine what more could do.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Shireen Jones. The Athens Fire Department was established in 1830. It was first located where the City Hall building operates today. A little later on today's program, we'll be speaking to the man who oversees the fire department, Robert Troxell. But up next, it's our bicentennial moment. Today, Alicia Rich takes a look at when telephones came to Athens.
The telephone arrived in Athens in January of 1895 in the form of the Central Union Telephone Company. As early as 1881, individual businessmen had employed private phone lines between their homes and businesses. One or two firms even had a long-distance line to Columbus. But not until 1895 did Athens enjoy a telephone system with a central switchboard. Then, for years, Athens had two phone companies. Ultimately, in 1920, it was the Athens Home Telephone Company, led by Athens dentist C.L. Jones, that survived. For the Government Channel, I'm Alicia Rich with another Athens Bicentennial Moment.
Bicentennial moments focus on what's happened in Athens since its founding in 1797. Well, joining me now is the man who oversees the Athens Fire Department, Chief Robert Troxell. Chief Troxell, thanks for taking time out today and being with us.
You're welcome.
Well, I want to talk to you about some of the things that have been happening in your fire department in the past year. One of the big things has been an assessment study that was done by an outside consulting firm. Why was that assessment done?
Well, the assessment was done to help evaluate basically two areas of our department. One, response times, and the second, staffing levels. It came about really from a recommendation from one of the council people several years ago when we were looking at the possibility of an East End fire station. And that particular individual felt that it would be a good idea to have an outside assessment done of the department. And we agreed it would be a good idea. This administration, one of the things that they have undertaken is assessing the departments within the city. And so that's really how the assessment came about.
Now, what were some of the results from that study?
Well, I think the study showed us some things that we were deficient in, and it also showed us some things that we've done very well in. Some of the deficiencies that were pointed out, which we already knew to a certain degree that were there. Certainly one is our staffing levels. Our staffing levels are certainly are understaffed by any evaluation means. So we knew that, and certainly the assessment team pointed that out even more so. One of the areas that they pointed out that we weren't as concerned about was our minimum staffing of each station, of which we have 2 on board now. Their recommendation was a minimum of 4, but they could buy into 3 that would help comply with the National Fire Protection Association standards. So right now we're looking at how we can bring our staffing up to a minimum of 3 per station.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the most critical deficiency that we have. We are also looking at feasibilities of station placements with the proposed annexations that are about to take place and are proposed to take place in the future. So we're putting together mapping schemes that will allow us to take a look at areas that will be covered and potential demands for service in the future. we're looking at it from a response time aspect. How quickly can we put a piece of equipment at a particular address? Those are probably two of the big areas that the survey keyed on. Another area is a fire prevention specialist. That was a position we'd had for many years, and in 1984 that position was cut due to some really difficult times the city was going through. We need to have that position back. That was a critical part of our fire department. That individual primarily does our commercial inspection program. From that, it also allows that individual to be our planner within the department. So when new structures and new subdivisions and new commercial properties are being built, that individual can be on scene and evaluate those structures to make sure that they are meeting the current fire codes from Ohio and also the Ohio Basic Building Code.
Now, because of the study, a community assessment committee was formed. What are some of the duties of that committee, and how are they helping out with this?
Well, the committee was formed primarily to get the community involved in this. We are the community fire department. We serve the citizens of Athens, so it was felt that by involving community members, and especially community members that have either experienced fire in the city, or people from the insurance industry, people from the university, really try to get a broad perspective from a committee aspect. And we felt that if we involve those people, that it would give us a broader base to pull ideas from, because you sometimes get fixed into your particular train of thought because you work with a situation for so long. So by bringing in fresh people, it's certainly going to bring in a lot of fresh ideas, and maybe some ideas that we had not thought about. And from that, the mayor asked these people if they would serve on the committee, and actually everyone we asked agreed. We didn't have anyone turn us down. So I think that is very positive in itself.
Talking about the Athens future and some of the things that are happening currently and that will be happening, you mentioned annexation. What are some of the trends that you're seeing as Athens Fire Chief?
Probably the most critical trend that we're seeing is the increase in demand for service. Our increase over 1996 for 1995 was 15%. That put us at an all-time record high for demand for service, number of calls that we responded to. Already in 1997, we're almost halfway through the year, we're seeing those numbers probably 5 to 7% beyond what we experienced last year. And again, if it continues in this trend, it's going to put us considerably above last year's. I think this is a trend we're going to constantly see as more things occur within the city. We're getting more traffic in the city. We have a large student population, probably one of the largest we've had since the 70s, certainly. And all of these things contribute as we annex more properties into the city. Certainly that potential for demand on our services increases. So those are some of the areas that we are seeing as far as a trend goes. We're also seeing some of our fires, for some reason, are more severe. We're fortunate that we get most of them knocked down in a short period of time, but we are seeing some of our fires becoming more severe. We're not sure why. Some of the things that we see are a large usage of candles, and we've had a phenomenal amount of candle fires. And generally candle fires are fairly devastating. They may take a room or may take an apartment out, but it usually pretty well damages everything within that apartment. So, those are some things that we've seen here recently.
Now, to help combat the increase in fire calls, your department is adding some new equipment. Can you tell us about some of that equipment?
Well, probably 10 to 11 years ago, we did an equipment assessment, actually right after I became chief in '86, and we realized that our equipment was certainly below standards. We had a lot of equipment that was old and antiquated. Some days we couldn't get some of the trucks to run. They were just simply broke, and they were so old that parts were difficult to get for. So we went to the new administration at that time, Sarah Hendricker, and explained the situation. And she was also in the process of developing a capital purchasing system throughout the city. Within that system, and with the help of City Council, we started purchasing new equipment. The first major purchase was the new tower truck. That was a $500,000 package. Very expensive piece of equipment, but given the height of the buildings that we have to protect, and certainly the life hazard in this city, that piece was certainly needed. And I think council realized that, and certainly the administration knew that. From that point, we set into place a capital program that would every few years bring our piece of equipment up to standards. And with the arrival of our latest pumper, 1005, that we just received a couple weeks ago, that pretty well completes our equipment project. It has brought our equipment up to what we think is some of the finest in Ohio, certainly. And as long as we continue with our capital replacement programs, and as this equipment becomes necessary to be put into reserve status, then certainly we'll be in good shape on equipment.
Well, let's go take a look at that new pumper.
Sure.
Now, this is the new pumper truck. Tell us about some of the features here.
Well, one of the things that we've tried to do with this truck, the firefighters really spec'd this truck out. It took us a year to write the specifications, and this truck was built from the ground up to our specifications. And we tried to look at something the community needed due to our demand for services. And one of the things that we're seeing is our rescue runs have increased considerably. And severe rescue runs, severe automobile accidents, some high-angle rescue stuff, some confined space rescue things. So we tried to design the truck to meet those demands. And one of the things that this truck has is it has a large onboard electric generator to provide power for on-scene for lights, for Hearst rescue or Jaws of Life type equipment. It gives us electric to operate any type of power equipment that we need to have on scene for a rescue. That's an onboard diesel. Also has the onboard Hearst power unit that's already pre-connected, so when the guys get on scene, they don't have to fumble around, take a lot of time connecting hoses and things, because everything is pre-connected. Simply get off the truck, pull the equipment out of the truck, and it's ready to use, and it saves precious seconds in these types of situations.
Now,
20 kids. For 1 hour a week, you leave your concrete world of flip phones and faxes and talk to 20 kids about how business works. They will question everything, but those 20 kids will talk to 20 more. So by Saturday, what you said on Thursday could be halfway around their world. You get to make a difference. Could just make the rest of your week pretty dull. That's the new JA, teaching kids how business works.
welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Shireen Jones. The Athens Fire Department does more than fight fires in Athens. They also help educate the folks who live here. Recently at the Kids Fest, they were showing kids what to do when a fire happens at their house.
This is the Athens Fire Department smokehouse. It was built by the firefighters, City of Athens firefighters. Started out as an empty shell. The trailer was used at one time by the sewer department. They donated it to the fire department, and we decided to turn it into a smokehouse, a training facility for kids. The firefighters did about all the work on it themselves. The inside of it is decked out like a house would be. We talked to the kids about what it's like to try to get out of the house safely if you experience a fire.
Today we're going to teach you stop, drop, and roll in case your clothes catch on fire, know 2 ways out, crawl low underneath smoke, and to call a fire department from a neighbor's house. We have smoke detectors in their house. Good. Now the smoke detectors in the house, some are hardwired in like this straight into the house, and some have batteries. That's what a smoke detector sounds like. Not all of them are like that though. Okay? Some of them chirp, some of them buzz, some of them ring. They might make different noises. Every week, once a week, you need to test your smoke detector. You can make Friday that day. We got little stickers out there that you can put on your calendar. You put the stickers on your calendar to tell you when to test your smoke detector. Okay, when your clothes catch on fire, you need to stop, get down, drop down on the ground, cover your face, and roll back and forth until your clothes are out. Okay? Don't cover your face, that way the fire doesn't burn your face. You need to practice fire drills at home with your parents and everybody. Know your 2 ways out of each room, your bedroom, whether it be a window or a door or extra doors. 2 ways out of the living room, 2 ways out of every place in your house. You go to a safe meeting place at a neighbor's house or something, or someplace outside away from the house. Then once you get to the meeting place, then you need to make sure everybody's all there. If everybody's there, that's good. If not, do not go back inside, okay? You go call 911. That's what the firefighters are here for. We'll go in and get them. Okay? Now, if you have any questions or anything, save them until after we're done here, and I'll answer all your questions. Now, what we're going to do here is we'll show you. Ma'am, you want to call 911? Pick up this phone right here. She's going to show us how you call the phone right here on the other side of the banister. Dial 911.
911, what is your emergency?
Fire.
What's on fire?
The house.
Is everyone out?
No.
Okay, everyone needs to get out. Are you out?
No. No.
Okay, you need to hang up and go to your neighbor's house and call me from there. Get out of the house.
Bye. Bye.
Okay. Now, she's there. Everybody has gotten out. She needs to get out. It's the main thing you need to do. Everybody needs to get out first, then you go to neighbor's house and call. So everybody gets out of the house, and she's sent again to go call from her neighbor's house.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and call again. You're calling from your house. This time everybody's outside.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire at my house.
Okay, where is your house located?
123 Grover Street.
123 Grover Street.
Okay, is everyone out?
Yes.
Do you need an ambulance?
No.
What is your name?
Andrea.
Okay, we'll have the fire department right there.
And when she hangs up, you hang up. You can go back to your meeting place. She might tell you to stay next to the phone in case you need directions. Some people here don't live in the city. If you don't live in the city, it might be kind of hard to get directions. They might need to tell you to make a left here, make a right there. So you might need to stay next to the phone. Okay, we'll turn this off. She's going to bring the smoke out. She's going to show you how the smoke detector goes off when the smoke comes out. Okay, and the smoke's going to come down about here. Everybody up there on the steps, I want you to crawl down backwards. Just like in a house, you crawl down backwards, and if something's on the steps will collapse or something like that, you're safe. And you can feel it on your way down. I don't want you to trip on the steps at home or here, okay? So crawl down backwards. I want you to crawl this way. There's a door right here, and we have a little heater in it. And just like at home, you feel the door, okay? This is your first way out. You feel it. If it's warm, feel it at the back of your hand. If your hand burns, you can still use it. You can feel it at the back of your hand, okay? You feel the first way out. If it's warm, you go to the second way. So this is pretend your first way. Feeling the way by, okay? All right, she's going to turn the smoke on. Your smoke on? Okay, you go out. See how it banks down? Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead and start coming out. Start crawling out.
Not backwards.
That's why you stay low. See how it just stays right here like a little ceiling?
See, that's why you crawl
out.
under
Keeps burning. It's going to come down more and more as more it burns. It's going to stay in the upper part. Come on down, crawl out. Feel the door on your way by.
You guys do a good job.
There you go. That door's warm, isn't it?
Well, that's all the time we have on today's Spotlight. Thanks for watching. For everyone here at Spotlight, I'm Shireen Jones. Have a nice day.
For everyone at Spotlight, I'm Dennis Cometti. Good night.